Welcome back to Wook Plus. I am Weekend Wook, joined once again by Kev the Great Went and T. Happy Wednesday, guys. How's it going?
Good. We should bring back the secret word.
All right, let's do it. How does that work? Explain it to us.
Well, we used to have a banner at the bottom, but we'd have a secret word, and everybody
Yeah,
had to
how do we
drink
not
or.
Is
see
it a
it?
secret to us or is it a secret to them?
It's just a secret word that once we tell them, it's not a secret. But if somebody says
The
like
the
convoluted,
non-secret word.
yeah,
Why don't I create one and you guys look away, and then I'll delete it after I do it, so that way you know what I mean. That way, if we say the word, are you looking away?
hold on.
I don't trust you guys. I think you're fucking. All right, there you go. The secret word is.
It's like password. Remember old
We should bring
game night?
Pastor back. All right.
I was thinking we could do the $10,000 pyramid and like things in a Wook's backpack. And then the one person would have to try to get the other person to name the
Well,
stuff.
I mean, feeling nostalgic and all after watching some of the playbacks the other night of some things and wanting to produce segments again and game night again and
Game
some of our
was
I
older
think all of that is on the table. I think that's
fun
all
things
in
again.
play.
What was that weird thing that you posted on YouTube?
Look at the set list, Kev. It's like number 7 on the set list. You want to jump to it? We could jump to it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is merch.
It's the 5th thing. I didn't actually count it. No, let's start where everybody wants
I
to
thought it was
start.
supposed to be 4/24/24.
Oh, fuck.
That's what threw me off. I was like, I don't know what that date means, but cool.
It should be 4/24/24.
4 days
Fuck.
ago.
All right, we're gonna do tonight without a set list. I fucked
No,
up,
leave it up.
everybody.
It's fine.
Oh, just leave it up there. Everything else
It's
is good.
fine.
No one else will know what it means.
Yeah, I'd do another HF Pod game. I want to do a draft with them though, like a proper draft, kind of like what they did, but better. I think that would be,
Mhm.
that
What
would
they
be
did,
fun.
but better. Like,
No, so I think what's on everybody's mind, and I think why we're all here, is as a support group, is to try to understand why Fish fucking hates the coast so much. It's not even fair, really.
no, it's like they never play New York anymore.
No, I know, right? It's absurd. I don't know. I think the tour is triggering some people, and on one hand, I think it's like kind of
Wait,
hilarious.
Fish is doing something that's triggering people.
Stop the music. Stop the rock and roll.
You know,
I have a
so
feeling fall tour is going to be West Coast again.
probably, and
Probably.
like, and I think it is a little bit ridiculous to complain that like the one tour in the last like 40 years that ignores us. But at the same time, if I'm being completely honest and irrational, like I understand it's irrational, it is kind of a bummer not to have more local shows. And if anything, I can commiserate or have empathy for the Midwest and how they feel other years. It's just weird that like the one time we can commiserate with them, they're all like, "Fuck you, you don't deserve shows." You know what I mean? It's like,
But it's not even like, I mean, there's still sort of balanced further east. I mean, there's still East Coast shows and there's still shows in that general vicinity. Like you're not just completely
well, I mean, we
Bethel is
got we
on.
got the festival really for like the
yeah,
Mid
but
Atlantic and like the North. Like New England's different. New England has a couple of shows, right? They have Connecticut and Bethel and everything. But like if you live in Maryland or Virginia or Pennsylvania, New Jersey, like that, I don't know.
What about? I mean, you know who got no love also was the South.
I know, but they've gotten some really
but
fire
they've gotten,
tours
yeah, I was
the
gonna
last
say they've
couple of
gotten a
years.
lot of love a lot of times with the opening shows. I mean, as much as that kind of sucks, like, but
And they,
they
and
get
they seem to have forgotten about Florida.
Yeah.
that's one place that has
But
a
why
legit
would you
gripe.
want to go to Florida these days?
I saw them in Jacksonville one year, and that was a fun show because there was like it was an arena, but there was like a third of the place was sold, so like 2/3 empty. So like we all had
Right.
our own rows. So like it's not even like you have an extra seat. Like you have your whole row, up there, you fucking dancing and running around and shit.
Do you
That's
think
nice.
that Do you think that Phish could pull off playing Alaska?
Yeah.
I mean, they might be playing the high school gymnasium like the Grateful Dead did back in 80 or 81, whenever they played there, but they
Yeah.
should get on that and do all 50 states and just,
What states am I
that's a
missing
goal
now?
for
They ever
them to
done
do.
Montana? Mo plays Montana all the time. I
Yeah,
love
the
it.
Bozeman Tweezer.
Oh yeah, duh. Duh.
You can have a song called Montana on a live one.
Yeah, I mean, back then it was when they toured everywhere, they kind of hit all those places. These
Did
days, I
they
don't
hit
know.
Wyoming though? I can't think of a Wyoming show jumping out of the top of my head.
That's not that far from Denver, right?
Well, it's actually
No,
not that far from Fort Collins, where they played a few times too.
an hour.
Yeah, which if they
Hour up
played
the road.
the Rams,
When I lived
it's not
when
far.
I lived in Fort Collins, the dishwasher at the IHOP where I worked had never been outside of Fort Collins. He had never been outside Colorado. And one night after work, I got a 6-pack and drove him into Wyoming just so he could say he went to another state.
Your accent is crazy, Kev. Like I feel like I take it for granted or I don't think about it, but then every once in a while you'll just string a couple of words together. I'm like, holy shit, that's a wild ass accent.
That's funny.
I guess what we're trying to say is Phish should just tour a lot more and hit all of the spots. And who cares if they're getting old? Get back to 150 shows. It'll be great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But my call is that there's not going to be a gorge, but they'll probably have LA shows, San Francisco, maybe do Seattle again. Because it seems like they did 2 years in Alabama. They've been running. So maybe they go to Seattle, sign a contract to do 2 years worth of shows or something.
Yeah, and maybe it'll have a little bit more like that, like the 21, fall 21, where it also had like Phoenix and San Diego and, like anywhere from that 8 to 12, 13, 14, 15 show run or something.
Right.
Might be
No-
15's a little much for West Coast, but a few nights in places like 3 nights, 2 nights. 3
Hard
nights.
part about West Coast is the couch tour, though. It's like fucking so late.
Yeah, it's rough for you
Those
guys.
after shows at like
Yeah.
3 in the morning are brutal.
That's
no
rough.
Texas in a while either.
A couple years ago, right? 21, 20, 21. Didn't they?
No, not in 4.0.
I thought they did. Maybe not.
They
Maybe
didn't
it
do
was
anything
19.
in 20.
Maybe it was 19.
Well, this except for on the West Coast, I'll say, because they're not going to do more than one night in San Diego, and they're not.
They'll
gonna do
still
more...
split Tuesday, Wednesdays on small
Yeah.
venues, but the weekends are owned. Oh, 18.
But they're not
That's
going
what
to
I'm
play.
thinking
They'll
of,
play
Dave.
sort of a run of shows up and down the coast, like out here. You're not going to get more than usually one night at the Forum, one night in San Diego,
Yeah.
Quorum at the
Santa
Forum.
Barbara, 3 nights in Frisco.
I mean, I guess the other argument could be made that they last like, I don't know, half a dozen times they played out west have been some of their best tours
Yeah.
that they've had. They've
21?
absolutely thrown down out there. So,
Even though
I'll
that
take it.
Soul Planet has nothing on Mexico chalk dust.
No, it really
No.
doesn't.
Not a lot does.
Oh,
Not
I
a
mean,
lot
that Soul
does.
Planet is pretty fucking good, though. That chalk dust. Whoo. Crazy.
Yeah, I wonder if they analyzed it.
Oh, you want to talk about this analysis rule? You found this article. I thought this was interesting. You want to set it up?
Yeah, I guess back in winter of '96, they found that in between sets they were doing a lot of bitching at each other, and Fishman said it took a couple songs in the second set to really get back on track, so they installed a no analysis rule, good or bad, and they didn't do it for a while. And I guess in '99 there was a Jabu one night that was complete crap, and
Did you listen to it?
No, I did not.
I did,
So they
and
started.
they're right. It was complete crap.
And I guess the problem was that Mike and Fishman, which we've talked about before, didn't know the tab thing. They did because the song wasn't written by them and wasn't originally played by them.
Right, but like 2 thoughts I had on that. I was surprised Phish wasn't better at picking it up because, like, I feel like when you listen to it, he gives 4 bars of the guitar riff, right? Like as one does with Jabu, like the
Mhm.
And he's like, his ghost notes are swung. Like it is very obviously a bouncy, like I call it a bouncy swing, right? Like I don't think that's a technical term, but like when I'm drumming and like usually that happens a lot. You get 4 bars to set up the groove, and I'm listening to it. The very first thing you do after you establish your time, like within a couple, 1 bar, you have your time. The second thing is you establish your feel. I'm surprised that Phish heard Trey play that for 4 bars and then played it straight and like had no funk to it or no swing to it at all. But it didn't. And if you listen to it, he played it super fucking straight and it sounded really. I feel like he also maybe was like, it's a tap song and not his. So he's like, fuck
Right.
it. I'm just gonna
Right.
mail it in, play it straight.
And they mentioned a MoMA once at Dick's that
At
they talked
Dick's.
about after.
I
And
went through-
basically, yeah, Trey was like, Fishman, you need to look over at Mike and not me.
That's true though. The bass and drummers need to lock in first.
But that's interesting because I wonder which one it was. Because looking at the Dick's runs, there's like a MoMA basically every year. So to like
I
try
bet we
and
could figure it out if we listened. You'd be like,
nail
oh, that's
that
a
one
shitty
down.
moment.
probably, and it's probably earlier on than later on, I would assume too. So, but
We instilled a no analysis rule a couple years ago here, and I
Really?
regret. Yeah, early on, and I regret it. I wish we did give more notes. I would give you guys so many fucking notes, but can't do it because we don't want to hurt feelings. So we just
can't do it. Can't do it.
after the live, we just log off. We're like, okay.
I thought the rule was wait 20. I thought the rule was wait 24 hours.
It was wait 24 hours, and then we gave notes. And if you remember, some people got triggered as fuck. So we were just
But
like,
they
you know
aren't
what?
here anymore. But those
Yeah,
people are not
right.
here anymore.
Because they got triggered as fuck.
So we took that as an overall lesson. As
So we were
to-
like, you know what? Maybe
You know
notes aren't
what?
worth it.
I love to ask people when I interview them about something I call the disconnect. If they record shows, like when they listen back, do they think differently than when they did when they walked off stage? And most musicians are like, yeah, I'll walk off stage and think something's complete crap and then listen back and be like, we weren't that bad.
Yeah. I feel like for this, not that it's the same, it's a lot easier to tell. Like I feel like when we have a really good flow and good groove and like we're laughing and shit and like the chat's going off, you're like you could definitely tell at the end. And then other times it's like a slog. You're like, oh fuck, let's get through this hour. I kind of do think of this like it's weird. I mean, that's kind of like an odd thing, but like this is to me, it almost feels like an improv, like jazz, like or jam band type of situation.
I always go
Like-
back and watch and I'm like, damn, we are so good.
Why? Because we never have a script and we're just up here without a net flying.
Yeah, and we'll just call shit, and sometimes it sucks, and we have to rip cord, and other times we'll go off into a spacey jam, and other times Llama will interrupt, and it'll be like,
Llama, whatever happened to that guy?
where did he go?
He's
Yeah.
around.
His name's still in the credits.
No, he's around. Don't give him shit. He told us he was going to be there today. Oh yeah, I agree. Kev's cat.
Cat.
Somebody said that they didn't know that you had a cat. They didn't spot him in the past, and I realized it's because you backlit your room now, so everybody can see your cat. For no other reason, that was the best reason to do it.
Well, that and there's
There-
not a
there are
green
actually-
screen hanging down
There
behind
are
him.
actually 2 cats, but I think that Clementine is the orange one who people love.
I love Dave. That's funny. All right, let's keep moving. I don't want to talk about Mexico yet. You want to skip that? We'll come back to it. Do you guys want to talk about Mexico?
No, let's skip Mexico.
Hey, I
What
mean,
is up with-
it's a loose set list. It's not really there for.
Yeah, we can bounce back and forth. I may go back to no analysis. I don't know. I mean, let's see.
I may start
I-
analyzing this show.
in real time.
It does. Ever since we brought that up, it's in my head. I'm like, it feels kind of sluggish.
Come on, pick it up. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Come on.
I remember the old shows though with switch flipping. Then it was the disconnect because I would feel like they were some fire shows, and you go back and it would just be like
A mess.
a complete mess. Like, how the fuck did we get why did we think that was a good idea in the first place? But it was a different time, pandemic and everything. But
I feel like we very rarely totally shit the bed.
Totally, but there was a lot of switches being
A
flipped.
lot of squirts.
All right. You're bringing us closer to it.
What is up with Dave Schools? Do we know anything more than he's in the hospital?
No, but I mean, it seems pretty serious. They keep canceling dates, and he's had health problems for a while now. But
You know,
yeah,
my first thought reading that was, I even said to you, Tim, I need to get myself together because I feel like I'm in the Dave school of health. You know, let's eat bad food and not take care of ourselves, and
yeah. I mean, I'm knock on wood. I just got my results back, and they're all good. But like, I was thinking about that. I went to a physical, and they're like, they ordered a blood panel, and then I just fucking didn't do it. Like this was like a year ago. No, for no reason, just because like I'm an asshole, right? Like I went to the doctor to get a physical, which is like half the battle, and then I just gave up on it. And then all of a sudden, I had like this. I had some issues recently, nothing serious, but I was like. I don't know if you guys get it, but like you start going down that rabbit hole, like you start freaking the fuck out and like second guess everything. And I was like, when was the last time I had everything checked? And it was like several years. I freaked the fuck out. And luckily everything came back and I'm like, good. But I'm like, I'm getting older and like I can't just take that shit for granted. I gotta like eat better and
I don't believe in getting sick, so
so you just don't do it.
I just don't do it.
You know what's crazy though is like my wife's like really really good and really strict about all her appointments and eats healthy and like a hypochondriac and shit. I swear to God, she gets sick 10 times more than me. I just have like this crazy immune system. The girls get sick, then she gets sick. Back and forth, they pass it to each other, and then I just kind of like sit there and don't catch it for whatever reason. Except for when I go to MSG, I always get sick when I go to MSG.
Think about when you go to a doctor, right? You go to a
Yeah.
doctor's office, and what is it full of? Sick people.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
you who knows what you pick up in there. There's like 9 million different germs dancing
We cannot
around.
encourage people not to go to the doctor, Kev. That is
No,
not
I'm not.
responsible.
Telehealth. I'm all about telehealth.
Yeah.
I'm sitting home, I talk to the doctor, and if you really need to go in, you go in,
Yeah,
And then
I
they-
quit drinking when my wife got pregnant with my latest daughter. Was that? Yeah, smoking too. I quit
Smoking.
smoking. I smoked a pack a day for 15, 20 years, and after I quit smoking, I felt like an entirely different person.
You quit during
Yeah,
quarantine, right?
I quit smoking when my first daughter was born, and I quit drinking when my second daughter was born. Yeah, hydration's where I suck. I am always dehydrated. I am constantly fucking dehydrated.
All right,
But
that's cool. That's cool. Billy did picking up the pieces.
Yeah, that's cool.
I
Wow,
love Dave
nice.
Schools. He had that Stockholm Syndrome band and the All American something band and played with Mule a couple times. I remember the
Yeah.
Woody show after Woody died. Dave Schools was probably the best bass player that came out that day, and Phil played with Warren.
he
But
knows
Phil
how
doesn't fit. Phil doesn't fit with what with Government Mule does. It's straight blue, heavy blues, You got to play it straight. You got to play, well,
Wait,
let's
who
do this
doesn't fit?
interesting.
Who doesn't fit?
Phil doesn't fit with Government Mule, I feel like.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. He's too psychedelia, doing crazy shit, and I feel
Won't
like
play it straight.
no, I feel like Dave's a fucking fantastic groove bass player, though. I'm not a big Panic guy, and like I've whatever, but like a couple of times I've seen him, like fucking the rhythm section and schools will get you moving.
If they were an instrumental band, I would like them a hell of a lot more. I just do not like the guy's voice.
Cat showed up just in time to lick its ass, Kev. It's perfect.
There you go.
Perfect.
She must have just ate. It seems like every time a cat eats, it licks its ass. Like, is that better than the food? You just got to get the taste of the food out of your mouth, so you lick your ass.
I hope Dave's all right, man.
Because it like cleans it. Look at her belly.
Yeah, she's a good girl. She's chunky.
We
She like
so
waddles, and when she sits, it looks like a turkey butt. What's up?
So we don't have any updates on him though, right? That's why I brought it up because I wanted to see if anyone has heard anything because I heard that he was just in the hospital and having issues, but I hadn't heard any updates. I'm a little worried about it. Oh well, we'll see.
How long has it been? How long ago did he go in?
beginning
what
of the
was that,
month
last week?
because
Oh,
right,
was it the beginning of the month? Oh
they
yeah, holy
canceled the
shit.
shows on the weekend of my birthday, and they were rescheduled for this weekend, and they've been canceled again.
Yeah, Fish Finder agrees with you, Kev.
So let
Yeah,
me ask you this: if Dave has to retire
Yeah.
or something, does Widespread continue? Do they get another bass player, or is that the end of that?
Oh, they 100% could continue.
Yeah.
I don't feel like Panic fans are gonna be as finicky about it. You
Because
know,
they continued after Hauser. If they kept
Yeah.
going after
right? That's what I
Hauser,
mean. Did you see that article? Well, yeah, I think Kev, you posted that article about billionaires being Panic fans or whatever. There's like some crazy stat in it. It was like, how did that happen? That's not what I would have guessed based on the Panic fans I know. But apparently, there's a bunch of billionaire Panic fans.
Oh, I know that's weird. Yeah, capital venturist, capital whatever.
Capital easy for you to say.
Capital. They're the people that adventure through DC.
Venture capitalist. I had it backwards. I was being dyslexic there.
Adventure capitalists.
Adventure capitalists. All right. So our big announcement, which is not 2/24/24. I wish I didn't fuck that up. It should be 4/24/24. But we randomly, I don't know how it came up. How did it come up? It was after Wook Club we were talking. No,
We
I
were just talking.
someone had asked me a couple of weeks ago if it was ever going to come back, and I was like, I'm not even going to say what it is yet, but the thing that's coming back, somebody's going to ask me if it was coming back, and I'd said that we had moved on, but then I got thinking about it, and I was like, kind of missed it, and then last night we were talking, and
You
went
talked
down.
me into it.
Yeah,
Well,
good fucking thing, man.
We
You
were
addressed
talking,
my
and then
concern.
we started watching them, and once you start kind of going down the road of the nostalgic, you're like, oh, I missed that. Oh, look how good that was. Oh, look how fun that was. And then you're like, we need to do that again.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to announce that the Wookiee Awards are coming back to Wook Plus. This will be the 5th. I guess we can't say annual anymore since we skipped a year, but the 5th Wookiee Awards. Yes, the Wookiees.
It was the writer's strike.
It was. Yeah.
It was a weird year 23. I think we can all just leave it at that. We don't need to get into it. So yeah. Wookiees are going to be fun as shit. If you're unfamiliar, there's 4 other versions of it on the channel. They're pretty good. But we'll have some of the same awards coming back, some new awards. We're going to mix it up this year. I got some cool ideas for the aesthetic already. I think I always enjoy editing and doing like the animation and like the artwork for it, because every year was like a completely different aesthetic and style, and I want to try to keep it fresh. So we'll see. It's going to be fun.
We're
But
working
yeah, it's
on
coming
it.
up. Yeah.
No,
so-
David, we did not skip Mexico. We just called an audible, and Mexico.
No, we technically did, but we're going to go back to it. Do you want to go back to Mexico now?
We'll circle back.
Yeah, let's go
We'll
back
circle
to
back.
Mexico.
Let's go back to Mexico.
I need my maracas.
Yeah. So
I heard some guy was
thank
swimming.
you, Mr. Plow.
6 months.
I heard some guy was like trying to swim in the sand, and somebody was complaining on Facebook that this guy was like next to their kids wasted, and I was thinking, yeah, people get wasted, but you had your kids there, and I don't know. Would you bring your
No. I don't agree
No?
with you on that one, because they market it, and I've heard from many people that past years Mexico is the Fish Mexico, the Cancun one, is set up awesome for families. They have like separate spaces, they keep them separated, and that that keep bringing kids. I feel like, I don't know, man. I probably wouldn't bring my kids, but I don't want to go shaming that for that. Like, I think if you bring them into MSG, that's a whole different story. But I feel like this is the one time that it actually kind of makes sense. Yeah,
Well,
see,
did you
Dave
see
saying the
that,
same thing that I've heard.
Did
feel
you
like
see
you
the
have a better
brownie?
chance of doing it with that, right? Like
Right.
if you could take a whole family vacation and do that, and
Did you see on Instagram, Brownie from Disco Biscuits said that he wouldn't take his kids to a Phish show before they were 18. And I was thinking about it. I took my kids to Merriweather 2 years running, and
I took Evie to AC when she was 3 because
took
it was
her to
on a
Dead and Company.
beach. And well,
You
I
took
took
her
her to Dead and Company too. She has headier stats than half the chat, and I'm proud of that.
I've taken my kids to Dead and Company a few times, to Phish a few times. My youngest and I went and saw Alice in Chains, Bikini Kill. You know, they've gone to their bunch of shows with their mother. I don't have a problem with it. The thing is, I guess, if your kids aren't aware, you know, like with the first time I took them to Merriweather, some guy handed me a joint, tried to hand me a joint. I was like, yeah, I'm with my kids. And then he got all weird and like walked away. And I was like, I don't care if you're standing there smoking it, but I'm not.
I want to address this though, because I feel like people that don't have kids and everything think of shows one way, but you don't have to do Phish that way. I'm
You don't
not
have to have a
bringing in
lot.
my girls to fucking shakedown and scoring shrooms. You know what I mean? Like you fucking show up right before you go right into the venue. You stay off to the side. They dance. You build a little ring around it in the. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. The beach was fucking great. We just put beach towels and dug a little hole for her, and she played in the sand and danced. Like yeah, of course you don't want to be falling in a K-hole with your kids, but I mean there are other ways to. Believe it or not, a lot of people go to Phish without drugs and alcohol. Like,
I took the kids onto the lot and we walked down the shakedown part and I bought them each like a little wreath flower head thing that they wanted, you know, trying to say it's wholesome on some levels. And the guy who was, you know, walking by doses Molly, you know, I don't think when they were 8,
they don't even register that. They don't know what the fuck he's talking about. And you know what I would say? Like, honestly, my daughter, she loves making like potions and shit. It hasn't come up, but if she's like, what was that? I'd be like, oh, they're selling magic potions. They can, you know, and like, they would just, it's all fantasy at that age. They don't fucking know. It's fine.
It's all fantasy at this age. What are you talking about?
Right.
And now my kids would never go see Phish. So
this is a great point too. Actually, I've seen way less respectful people at non-show vacations, even shit like Disney. We ran into a bunch of drunk people at night at Disney where the parents are drinking all day, you know, and then they get fucked up and are rude. Like most of my experience, at least, is if you're like, if there's a pregnant woman or if there's kids, like most fans are super chill and like they don't want to be hanging out with kids, right? Like they give you space.
I think a summer outdoor show too is different than taking them to Madison Square Garden or something.
100%. I think that is, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying every show is.
I think location has a lot to do with it and what you're doing with the like there too. You know, I mean, because and where you're at in the venue and how you're like going about it with like, there's a lot of variables that go into the whole thing. I think with bringing your kids, and there's some people that, you know, do follow that, like know what they're doing with the kids. Like you got, you know, like you said, like you build a little barrier around them and let them go, and like, or like how, you know, safe and like watch them and stuff. You're not.
The oldest, when she was 15, wanted to go to some country show at Merriweather, so we went. And those people were hammered and obnoxious. And I was more like, why did I bring her here?
Yeah, but you were probably in a mood, though, because you're not a big country guy. So, like, you're not loose and having fun either, right?
Oh, I was loose. I had a few beers.
I would think that'd be some great people watching, though, Kev.
This is right.
You
got to leave early. I am not a leave the show early kind of guy. I actually fairly adamant with my crew personally, not adamant online because I don't give a fuck what you guys do, but like when I'm with like a group, I'm like, we are not leaving until well after encore, unless you got youngins there. Get the fuck out of there before you start hearing popping balloons and hissing and all that shit. You got to beeline it right to the car and get home before it gets too late.
Right. We left one year. They were like, how many more songs? I was like, there'll be one more song. And they went into You Enjoy Myself. And about 15 minutes into it, they were like, really, Dad? And I was like, come on, let's go. And we rolled out and left before the encore. I bet I had driven home by the time everybody was stumbling out of the show.
You did them such a fucking solid by not making them listen to Vocal Jam. They would have hated you. Like, what the fuck is this? No, never again, Dad.
My Evie knows that trick though, because we do a thing when we're driving, like whatever, like long like vacations or whatever, where we'll pass the song pick. So my wife picks a song, Evie picks a song, I pick a song, and like she always picks like Princess, you know, like the theme to whatever, and it's like a minute and a half, and my wife will pick like a popular song that's like 2 minutes, and then I'll pick like a 37-minute jam. That worked like twice, and now I'm not allowed to pick anymore. Like, you know, you're out of there.
Here we go.
I used to have, like, when my kids were little, we had a Miley Cyrus CD, we had a Selena Gomez CD. You know, I took them to see Selena Gomez once, and
How was
she did a
that?
Britney Spears tribute that was really racy. But that was the weirdest thing ever because I was the only guy there, and I was the only person over 15. I felt like it was.
There were no other dads there.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. They were screaming, and then my youngest
It's hard to see the
said her
guys
ear hurt.
past all the screaming.
Right.
My youngest was like, my ear hurts, so I ended up in the first aid tent. Them looking at her ear, and I was like,
Poor Dave desperately wants us to talk about Mexico, and we've been
We
talking
keep
about
getting
like
sidetracked.
Selena Gomez. And fuck.
But I tell you what, my youngest, she was like 7. She ran down into the pavilion, and I looked at the guy. I was like, I got to go get her, and he let me go down, and we stood like 8 rows back in the aisle and watched like 5 or 6 songs. And the guards came up, and they're like, if you sit, you're okay, but you can't stand. So we just sat on the steps, and like we're like 8 rows back from the stage.
Nice.
All right, pivoting back to Mexico. I have a feeling.
Dave, what was your favorite? What
Hold
was your
on,
favorite moment,
Kev.
Dave?
Ah, Jesus Christ. Fine, ask Dave a question.
Are you analyzing? No, go ahead.
I
Dave,
was
it's fine.
trying. You know what that was? That was like Trey trying to go into a song, and then Mike just starts smacking the bass like, "Fuck your choice. We're playing Mull." All right, there you
The
go.
Howling? Wow.
And
Okay,
Wave
the
of Hope.
Howling.
I was gonna say, I feel like Dave might not have watched the after shows, but we 100% agree with you. We said many times throughout the run that this was the best Mexico, and I don't think it's close at all. I think this is, you know, leaps and bounds beyond the other Mexicos. I don't know. I'm still very much torn between 2 and 3, and not that it matters. You know, which one was better, but I do find it interesting, like what people liked more. I don't know, just in what works for certain people. But I think the chalk dust, because we were talking, what were we talking about this on Sunday morning? I think now in hindsight, everything else is faded or lost a little shimmer. You know what I mean? Like it's still amazing. I'm sure if I re-listen, I would enjoy it. But the chalk dust has only elevated. I've listened to 2 more times since then, and like it's fucking every time I listen to it, I like it more. I hear new things, and everything else
Did
I
you
think is
mull it
kind of
over?
like settled.
Did you mull it over?
Mull was all right, actually. I liked the 46 days Mull mashup,
Mashup.
the Mull up.
The mole up.
Yeah, the gin is, I don't think, getting as much love because, I mean, obviously the chalk dust is the headline, but I think the gin was really solid.
That was a really solid gin.
It was good, Jen.
That
There was,
great.
I mean, every night the jams. They sounded great, as we talked about every night. Like it was really, you know, and the standout to that point, the standout jams are kind of what you remember, but there was a lot of good playing in between all of the standout jams too, which without those, it probably would have been an above average Mexico trip anyway, because of how
Without the wave of hope and the
and the
chalk
chalk
dust.
dust going that
Yeah.
far, or even, you know, eliminating them, I think you still have an above average run with those, but then you throw those things in there amidst everything else, and it really elevates everything.
Except for Mercy and Evolve.
Evolve
Evolve.
and Ether Edge for you. And,
Oh yeah, Ether Edge. Actually, I decided that Ether Edge is worse than Evolve. I'll take Evolve over Ether Edge.
that's what you
Um,
that's what you've decided now.
Yeah, I've decided that I'm only gonna shit on one song from now on, and it's not Evolve anymore. It's Ether Edge
Ether Edge.
until they play Evolve, and then I'm gonna go back to shitting on Evolve.
That's okay. I like them
yeah,
both. I'll defend
You
them
will
both.
always remember where you were when you heard Alaska and Ocelot in the same show. That is
Right,
the
there
other
were
thing that
no Casvot songs, were there?
No,
no.
and luckily, I mean, no. Well, shocking
Santos,
that
you figure Santos.
no
would've-
Santos to close a set. I know, which was a glorious thing not to hear.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave Essie's comment up just for the rest of the show.
You let it sink in.
Just let it ride. Let it ride.
You know, when I saw
the-
Ether Edge, the Ether Edge they did at Dick's last year, everybody was down one, and I was like, it was okay. It didn't bother me as much. This one felt a little more egregious where they placed it.
And shitty. Terrible. You know what it is? You guys, are you familiar with like the business concept of opportunity cost and like it's not just what something is worth or cost, but also what could be in its place. Like that's the whole idea, right? So like not only is it like that I don't particularly like the song, but they have so many other songs and such a deep catalog that they don't get to. So when they take up 8 minutes of real estate, that's where it's like, man, I just wish they didn't do that because there's other choices that I think would be way more enjoyable for me.
I felt so let down with the Sea of Stars after the chalk dust, but you
Oh,
pointed
I
out
like
that I
that
would have.
though.
You were like you would have been let down with anything. At least they did a throwaway. A
Yeah,
throwaway,
Yeah.
in my
that wasn't
opinion.
a bad slowdown for where it was. But Tim, I think to your point, you can say that about so many songs these days that they take up that real estate that you'd rather hear. Like every time I know Kevin and I like Drift. Every time you hear that song, that's such a huge chunk of real estate that's taking
That's a
up
bad one.
an awesome song that usually would fill that void,
That one's
especially
bad because it's a lot of real estate too. It's like not only is
right.
it bad, but it's a lot of length.
Bad real estate to take up. So yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of those kind of songs. I'd much rather take the 8 minute or 6 minute song in that slot because at least it's over. Like some people, like we talk about, hate Sparkle. At least it's over quick. Even if you hate
Who
it, it's a
hates
quick over.
Sparkle?
We always
People
see
Show
people
poo-poo on
yourself.
it.
commenting on that. The crazy folk. But it's one of those songs. At least it's over quickly. So that's how I feel about some of those other ones. At
I'm
least you
gonna
can get
take
through
back
it.
my Ether Edge hate and redirect it to Drift. If I'm truly only going to bitch about one song, I think Drift is the biggest horse shit song. I agree, RP.
So the next time they play it, we should make a pact that on the after show we'll just skip it because all three of us are just going to poop on it.
You remember when Colbert? I don't know if you guys watch him, but like after after Biden became president, he just didn't say his name. Like he just like erased him from history. We should erase Drift from history. Don't put it in the set list. Don't acknowledge it. It's
That
just like
song.
anytime they play Drift this summer or at the Sphere, whatever, we just we don't even say anything about it.
Yes, Chalk Dust reprises little acreage, high value real estate. Exactly, Tyler.
I just had this feel that like this thought in my head that there's probably one person watching tonight that like really loves Drift while you're sleeping, and I feel kind of bad that we're leading into it so hard, but not that
They're
bad. So
never
we're
watching again.
I was gonna say, well, I don't feel that bad, so we're definitely doing that idea. But I'm sorry if you are offended by
There's always
that
at
take.
least one person that does, and that's to their right. They can enjoy it all they want, but I will not ever.
I can't
change
wait to
it.
run into David this summer so I can hear all about Mexico in person from him.
Oh, it's David. Now I really feel bad.
There's a bunch
And
of them. You're
Evan.
bound to get more than one. There's going to be people that like it. It's
All right, I guess we can't ignore it. We can't
Well,
erase
you know
it
what?
from
I
history.
love.
Oh
One
my
of
God, there's so many. What's happening?
one of my favorite songs of Phish is "I Love the Line." I think the line is a fantastic song, and nobody likes the line.
And you step to the line.
I like
That-
I coached basketball for 8 years, so it
Yeah.
it resonates with me on a
it
level.
speaks to you. It's your
I
glory
used to
days.
tell the kids that. I would be like, you
just
I was
step
like,
to the
"Wait, what's
line.
the shot?" Right? You got, but you got to step to the line and take the shot, is what I would say.
So weird that you like that based on like your
Hate for everything
history
else.
and what I know you like and don't like. I would not have guessed you like that song. You're an
Yeah,
enigma
I thought it was
wrapped in
the
a
strongest
riddle.
thing. Which album was that? Was that Big Boat or was that
Fuego.
Fuego? Fuego.
I'm guessing. I'm fairly confident. All of those albums, I was like a big stan and a defender of when they came out because they had so much hate from all you jaded old fucks. Like these albums come out and everybody be like, "Oh, this album sucks," and like as like a reactionary thing, I'd be like, "No, this is a great fucking album," and then I get egg on my face because like 2 years later, I'm like, I'm not listening to any of these songs. Like I like Fuego, like the song. Every one of those albums has like one or two songs that I really dig, but the majority of them, at least half of the album, is like not great until Sigma Oasis. That's when they turned the tide, I think.
I think Bob Ezrin was the problem with those two. There's one song on those two albums that I feel like Bob Ezrin's talents really came through, and that was Petrichor on Big Boat.
Yeah.
The studio version of Petrichor is a prog rock
It's
masterpiece.
fucking sweet.
I do not want to hear it live.
2016, I did a tour. It was the only time in my life that I did a full tour, and I got it like 7 times, and I fucking hated it. It was really upsetting to me.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but
That
it was
is
a
a
lot. I
lot.
mean, it might not have been 7 times, but it was a lot. They every new city or town they played it. So like if they did 2 nights in Alpharetta, we got it once. They did 2 nights in Charleston, we got it once.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
it's like one of those things.
Kind of like
uh,
backwards down the number line. And
I got a lot of those too.
Mhm.
That was
A lot of
terrible.
those.
Yeah.
You did not, Joe. Hey, Kev, what's the Neil Young update this week?
Things are quiet on the Neil front this week. I believe he's in rehearsals right now with the horse, getting things together.
What's
I
going
love
on with those
that.
tickets? Anything new on the ticket front with him?
Well, that we found out Neil's as greedy as everyone else. I mean, that wasn't a surprise, I guess. Robert Smith's the only cool guy left in the old people rock and roll.
You know, what's the song on Big Boat that has Big Boat as line? Friends? Why the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't love that song, but they abandoned that so fast. I'm
It's
gonna
a
look that up.
Fishman tune, right? Isn't it a Fishman
I
song?
think they've only played it once. I don't know what happened to that song. You know, there was a Let's Go too. There was a Mike Gordon song that I actually really liked, and they abandoned that one after one time. And then yet they play fucking Eat Their Edge 15. I guess that's, you know,
Right,
you're
in
Trey, you get to make
2019
those decisions.
Fall Tour 2019, they busted out Mike's Victim once, which was a new song of his that the time. I thought that Pittsburgh version was pretty solid. I walked out of that show like, song's not bad, and never again.
Yeah, they played it twice. They played Friends twice in 16. And then they were like, fuck this song. They got to bring that back.
Have you listened to them? You should go back and listen to them back to back and see if you can tell why.
Oh, I'm sure
It's
it
only
was
like 10
complete
minutes.
shit live. Yeah. But that's the problem, though. Like a lot of songs that end up being great songs, they take a dozen times to lock in. Like Mull is a perfect example. I feel like in 5 years, that is going to, if they stick with it, is going to be a phenomenal jam vehicle for them. Oh, thank you, SE. Appreciate it, man. Oh, wait. I don't think Do is a 4.
The problem with Do was, SE, is that it's a cover and not an original, even though everyone says it's Jerry's song. I
Mhm.
think that's some of what the thought process was in it.
Yeah, I think if it was a 4 seed, it wouldn't be going up against Eyes, right? I think it's because it's a 16 seed or whatever, like or lower.
No, it could be because we're in the 16 round now.
Right, but it's going up against number 1, which means it's in like the bottom quarter. It's ranked, it's seeded like 12 through 16 if it's ended up going against number 1 right now.
Oh, really?
We had this conversation off air last night in the green room, the three of us after the show, talking about how I thought one of those two, Eyes or Do, should have been in the Fire in the Mountain estimated
And I
side of the
proved that
bracket.
your point was nonsense, though, because if it was any of those other spots, it still would have lost.
But getting it there, it still would have gotten into the next round against whatever, because I said I would have voted for it over estimated or whatever.
Oh, you were going to take it over estimated?
Yeah.
Tim is dead wrong. There you go.
See, I wouldn't take it over.
Matthew, I said
You're
Eyes
not taking
was
it over Dark Star, though.
No, and that's what we said, right? Once it got into that round, which is still going to, I think, happen anyway. So I think Dark Star is going to win the whole. It's going to be either Dark Star or Eyes is going to win the whole thing.
It's going to be Eyes. Dark Star has to go up against.
It wasn't going to go into the next round because what are the other options? It would have gone against.
It was Fire. It was Estimated, because Estimated's going against Brown Eyed Women or whatever in that one.
Right. Or
Loser is going against Dark Star.
Or would have been Broke Down Palace.
Maybe it would have.
But it wasn't going to beat Playing. It wasn't going to beat Dark Star. It wasn't going to beat the other one. And it wasn't going to beat Scarlet Begonias. So there's one spot out of 8 choices that it could have been. So what is that? 80% of the choices we had would have triggered Wooks to bitch
about where it would have been anyway.
Where it would have been. I don't know. It's fine.
We do 9 o'clock, Michael, on Wednesday. 10 o'clock is Tuesday.
Yeah, we should fix that. No, well, now we have to stick to it, right?
Yeah.
You
I like the later one on the other night, though. It's nice, that extra hour to get my homework done of listening to the show.
Yeah, no, I have to. We can't move that up.
The beautiful thing, Michael, is you can go back and watch later.
Yeah, you can.
It isn't
And
like
we
the
will
radio
too, and then
where
we'll
it's just
analyze it. I'm sending you guys so many fucking notes after tonight.
And if you all have any notes, leave them in the comments if you're watching this
Yes,
later.
please. Yes, exactly. Give us notes.
Give
The
us
show
your
lasts
notes.
another week or so when all these once we start analyzing it again.
Oh, I never
And
put up
then you'll come to the
polls.
video and comments will be turned off for this video.
Well, we're live now, Michael, and we're glad you made it. Wednesdays at 9, Tuesdays at 10 for the Wook Club, and then Sunday mornings at 10. Nice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't my best work. I've definitely done better in the past. Kev needs what the fuck? He needs more bass bombs just fucking up my transitions. What else do we want to do? Oh, fuck. I know what we got to do.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good transition to go right into the next Wook Club, since that's kind of what we were just talking about. There we go.
Oh, wait. We got to take off this shit so you can see us. So we asked y'all. So anyway, March we decided to let the chat curate what Phish songs we're going to listen to. So in April we'll go back to randomly selecting it, because Kevin and I were talking about it earlier, and like there is something nice about just random. We have no idea what the fuck we're going to get, and you listen to shows that nobody's listened to. But I thought, since we've had a lot, of a couple from 91, 92, and people keep requesting, I thought it would be cool to have you guys. So tonight we're going to use the wheel to select next Tuesday's show, but we'll do this again next week for the following one. So if you didn't get a chance to let us know what show you want us to do in the Wook Club, you can comment on any of our videos afterwards, not live. It's better if you do it afterwards. And we'll add it to the wheel for next week.
This is just Tim's way of saying that we were getting too many 1.0 shows, and
no,
he
wait.
wants to try.
Trey said this, and I have to agree. It's kind of deceiving to describe 1.0 as one era. I feel like if you say 2.0, you kind of know what it sounds like. And if you say 3.0, that's a little bit different, because early versus late is different. But 91 and 92 sound nothing like 97, right? And it's not 1.0. I would love to get some 95 and 97 there. We had like 6 shows from 90, 91, and 92 in a row, and they were great. But I just want to get out of those years for a little bit. We could go back to those years.
Are you keeping the songs that don't win this week, or is it a fresh?
Yeah, I'll keep. If you put it on and it doesn't win, I'll keep it on, but we'll add more if you want us to add more.
Because I just had a thought. There was a great 95 show that I'd love to go back and listen to.
You already voted. You don't get another one in.
Which one did I pick, Chad? Do you know which was my date that I put up there?
I don't even know what your date was, and I was there when you did it.
Also, Dave, I don't think we're gonna do 4.0 shows, because we've started Wook Plus before 4.0. So if you want to hear us pontificate about a 4.0 show, you can literally just look it up, because we've done after shows for every show in 4.0, which I also recommend doing. It's really fun to go back and check it out. But what do you say? You want to go?
Spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel.
Oh yeah, come on, baby. Come on, 12-7. Oh!
No! Tim had to blow on it to get it through, not to get it out of the 90s, because that would have been too funny.
This was set up. That was a setup, because that was Tim's one that he put.
Was it?
Yes, wasn't it?
I don't know. Oh, Jacksonville. No, someone else said it. Someone in the chat did. I was at this show.
Oh,
but,
right.
This
we get a petrichor.
No, this
Mike's bouncing for UT.
Nice.
This was the show I was talking about earlier tonight, where I said that the venue was 2/3 empty and we were all raging. This was the tour I did. This Undermine is underrated though. It's fucking fantastic. Look, I told you Petrichor, that tour, man. Every fucking town they went to. No, this is a good
Right.
show.
Take a screenshot.
Well, look
The
at
show
that.
rating is 3.0.
3.6.
3.6.
Yeah, that's fine.
And there's only one jam chart.
Dude, shut the fuck up. Just listen to the show and enjoy it.
At least there's
Oh
a
yeah,
sparkle.
we'll listen to it. All right.
This
At least there's
Cross-eyed
a
was good. This
sparkle.
Piper was good. This was a good show. I can't wait to listen to
Mike's
it again. I haven't listened to it.
Interesting.
You know, Curtis Lowe is the most played song that I haven't seen.
Oh yeah.
Like when you pull that up on Fishnet, I've never caught a Curtis Lowe.
I guess I
Which is
have.
okay.
I was going to say,
I'm not a
I don't
Skinner
remember
guy.
seeing it, but apparently I did.
I'm not a Skinner guy. I've always had issues with them.
Always or later? in life?
Always. Oh,
Really?
I went and saw him once.
I
and
saw him
smoked-
open up for Allman Brothers, and that was a fucking hell of a show.
The first
whether you
tour
like
they-
him or not, like that's a fun show.
The first tour they did back, they had Rosington Collins Band, which was two of the guys in Leonard Skinner opening up, and we smoked all this Love Boat. I don't even remember Skinner. I came to when they were doing Freebird, and they just had a hat over the microphone. They didn't sing it; they did an instrumental version.
I don't remember Skinner either from when I saw him because we were pounding SoCo, which is what I think you drink, in those situations.
To go
But
see Skinner.
yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, somebody died in the parking lot of that show. Got struck by lightning
Holy shit.
really?
after the show. Yeah, they were standing next to one of the poles, the light poles. They had their hand
Mhm.
on it. The lightning hit it and took them out.
I can't believe this show came up. That's crazy.
That is all
We got
right.
our wish. I guess after this, we're going back to 1.0. This is gonna ruin that.
Well, we'll see what spins on the wheel. The next. Whoa.
Where's the? There it is.
Merch.
Merch. What is merch? Is that a new band?
Yeah. No, I wanted to remind everybody because I realized that it's been a while since we plugged it, but wookplus.com, we have a bunch of merch up, and there's gonna be new merch coming later this spring. So if you want to support the channel, support us, and also have awesome threads like this hat or that shirt, which we didn't plan this. This is just fucking great threads.
But not this shirt.
No, not that shirt.
Where's your
I have
Hogan
no idea
slogan
when the
shirt,
next
Kev?
show is.
Where's your Hogan slogan shirt?
It's over there in the pile on the chair. Do you have a laundry chair in your house?
A pile on a chair.
No, but we stopped using the bassinet recently and put it in the crib, and I didn't take it down fast enough, so it's just turned into another big laundry basket.
Yeah, I have a chair I throw things on, and then eventually I'm like, all right, the chair's piled too high. Time to do the
Oh, nice.
laundry.
Father
Gotta do
Chris, you going to see
laundry.
Karina in St. Louis? That's sick.
Yeah, I was trying to get Jevy to go to that show too, Father Chris. I don't know if he's going to go or not, but I'll let him know you're going for sure. And I'm planning on coming to St. Louis, and so is the rest of the crew, Steve and everybody. So
for
hopefully you're going
sure.
to be there for the St. Louis shows because we'll all be in town. It's going to be fun.
Nice. Yeah, I got Father Chris and I saw Karina in Philly. That was a great show. Had a lot
That's
of fun.
cool. Nice.
It was cool hanging out too. Because I didn't see him since Deer Creek. I don't know, a couple years ago.
The opening band was good on that little run she did. What would they call Coyote Island or something like that? Hey, 101.
And she's got,
Yeah. I'm gonna put some
Gorilla
tie dyes
Talk.
up. I think that's coming. Like this. I made this shirt. You like this one?
Right, and all we
no.
need to do is get you an iron on. You can just iron on a Wook Plus on the front of it.
No,
yeah,
I figured,
totally. Like the Taper's Choice did that. I have a ton of the banana iron-on patches from the ball. Those are awesome. Like just grab an iron. You can put it on anything. I put it on so many sweatshirts and shit. That's totally what we needed. We need to have some Wook patches. Tim
Did he
freeze. Did we
I
lose
think
it?
Tim froze. So let's talk about the radiators.
Are they
All
playing
right.
in New Orleans for Jazz Fest, Kev?
Yes, they're doing one night show and they'll play the last Sunday. They'll close the last Sunday. So if you're there on the second Sunday, but the thing is, they always play opposite whatever the huge act is on the what used to be stage one, whatever
Mhm.
bogus ass name it has now.
Mm-hmm.
Ray-Ban stage it was for a while. This is very weird that he's staring at us. Should we pull him off? There we go.
There he goes. He should be back anytime now. That's hilarious.
Oh, man. So we have the sphere coming up. Oh, we didn't talk about. Never mind. We did talk about it.
What did we talk
dicks.
about?
What I was going to say was dicks. That I was wrong, and I will admit that I was wrong with them not doing it. It really surprised me. But I guess with no West Coast, their thinking is we can get all the West Coast people to come to Dick's that aren't flying all the way to Delaware.
Yeah.
Yes, Tim is timeout, Tom.
Exactly. We hit the button, sent him out. Yeah, I think that's and I mean, I wouldn't imagine not doing, again, without at least giving some forewarning. I know, like you said, the contract's up and all of that, but I can't imagine, and not just that, but too many people plan that Labor Day weekend because it's a holiday too, and so even if you're going to the festival, I think if you already have that holiday weekend always planned every year, it's easy just to know you're doing it, or here he comes. No, you're planning it. So.
It's crazy. Fucking lost internet because our it's storming out. I'm on my hotspot. Is my connection all right?
Yeah, it's okay for now.
It's pretty crazy. I'm going through a cell phone. Who knew?
What is it, snowing?
That's it up.
No, I live in a valley in the mountains, so the wind rips and it fucking knocks out poles, and it's you wouldn't think just from wind, but I'll go out there, there'll be branches and trees down and fucking transformers blowing and shit.
The wind is blowing the Wi-Fi around.
That's a throwback. Holy shit.
Well, I will not be going to the Sphere for two reasons. I do not like Vegas, and I'd be terrified I'd face plant into the front row from the top row.
I can confirm that Kev is not good in Vegas and does not like Vegas. Yeah, I'm going. I'll be there for at least one, probably two shows. Not sure which nights yet. Like I said, I'm trying to do Thursday, Friday, and get out before the weekend. But we'll see. But I'm planning on going.
Ticket prices gone down, or are they still?
Yeah, they're still where they were. I don't know. Yeah, nothing yet.
I thought Dead and Company might knock it down. The people who wanted to go to the Sphere would go see Phish, but then when they had the option to see Dead and Company, would decide to go and do that.
And plus, now a summer tour and everything else, you'd think even if people, I don't know, might rather go spend their money elsewhere. So we'll see. We'll see as it gets closer and what happens.
No, I think everybody's hyped about this. Not everybody.
You missed me. You missed me acknowledging that I got dicks wrong. So.
Oh yeah,
he did.
He did. But did you also bring up that they're not playing anywhere near Dover?
No, I didn't bring that up.
Let me help you with that. You got one right, Kev. Good. Well done, sir. You deserve some credit.
I'm better than a baseball player. I'm batting 500 every year.
You think those are the only two takes you've had? Do we need to go to the tape?
Where's that red flag?
Yeah. My connection's fine, but it feels vulnerable being through a hotspot. I'm like, this is not the way to do this.
Well, we're coming up against the hour, so.
All right, let's leave it with some housekeeping. Wookie Awards are coming up in April. Get excited. We will be here on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, and we are listening to Jacksonville from 16 for the Wook Club. So everybody come and join us and tell your friends about it.
They only played one night.
They did, and then they came back up. So if I remember correctly, I'm doing this completely off of memory, but they were up in South Carolina, and then they went down through Georgia into Florida, and then shot back up to Nashville or something, which was a long-ass drive. But yeah, that Jacksonville show was a lot of fun. Actually, those Alpharetta shows were good too. But
if you want to see the tapes, Aiden, you gotta just go back through the archives. There's 563 shows now
of us.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a few.
We blew past 555 like a freight train.
I know. Serendipitous.
All right. Not when I did.
Good job, everybody. We'll see you next time.
See y'all. Thanks. down Kev's hot takes so we can remember them easier and have them
Yeah.
at our disposal.
Have an archive of Kev's takes.
And find that I'm right more than I'm wrong.
I think that
Well,
is
see, there's a take right there.
right.
Write
And
that
when
one
we
down.
prove that he's wrong more, we can add that to the wrong takes.
Exactly.
I like it. We're not going to do that. We're wooks.
Time to analyze this show.